The room echoed with cruel laughter as the clippers buzzed against her scalp, each stroke stripping away not just her hair, but her dignity. The cops stood around her, mocking the tears that rolled down her face, their arrogance feeding off her pain. They didn't see a human being. They saw an easy target, a powerless woman they could humiliate for fun. That night she made no sound, no threat, no plea. She only watched their faces, memorizing every smirk, every cruel word, and every hand that held her down. In that silence, something inside her changed. The woman they thought they broke was gone, replaced by someone stronger, someone who would rise higher than they could ever imagine. And one day, when their laughter would die in their throats, they'd remember this same silence, but it wouldn't be hers anymore. It would be theirs, years passed, but the memory never faded. The woman they humiliated had built herself back piece by piece, fighting through the shadows they left behind. Her name was Maya Lewis, and every day since that night had been a step toward justice. She studied law with the same fire that once burned through her humiliation, turning pain into purpose. People saw her as calm, polite, and composed, but inside her heart, justice beat like a war drum. The police officers who destroyed her pride went on with their lives, laughing in bars, boasting about their victory. They didn't know the tables were turning, that the woman they had mocked would soon sit in a place where every word she spoke carried the weight of law. Her silence had been her weapon, and soon it would be their sentence. The stage of fate was ready. Maya was about to walk in. When Maya first walked into the courtroom, a wave of whispers followed her. Some recognized her face, others only felt the authority that surrounded her. Her black robe flowed with quiet power as she took her seat at the bench, the nameplate gleaming under the courtroom lights, Judge Maya Lewis. Across the room sat 3 police officers, the same men who once laughed as they shaved her head, now older, their arrogance dulled by fear. They avoided her gaze, but she didn't need their eyes to remember. Every scar in her soul reminded her who they were. The case was about abuse of power and racial discrimination, and fate had written a cruel but just symmetry. The victims this time were others, but the accused were them. Maya kept her expression steady, her voice calm, but inside her mind, the echoes of their laughter replayed like a ghost from the past. Yet she didn't want revenge. She wanted justice to speak louder than vengeance. As the trial unfolded, the officers tried to defend themselves, twisting stories, hiding behind ranks, but Maya saw through every lie. She listened to every witness, every piece of evidence, her heart steady like a storm contained. The courtroom felt the tension. Even the air seemed to hold its breath. During cross-examination, one of the officers, nervous and sweating, glanced at her and whispered, "You." It wasn't a question. It was recognition. The silence that followed was so heavy that every sound in the room vanished. Maya leaned forward, her calm voice slicing through the air like a blade. "Yes, Officer Reynolds. We've met before." The room froze. Reporters looked up, jurors exchanged glances, and the truth hung like lightning before a storm. Officers' faces turned pale, their arrogance collapsing under the weight of realization. They were standing in front of the same woman they had mocked, but now she was the law itself. Maya continued the trial without emotion, but every verdict, every word, carried the truth of that long night. Justice wasn't loud, it was silent, powerful, and exact. When the final day came, and the jury returned with their decision, the courtroom held its breath once more. Guilty, on all counts. The sound of the gavel striking the desk echoed like thunder. As the officers were led away in handcuffs, Maya sat in silence, her eyes calm yet heavy with the weight of closure. She had dreamed of this moment not as revenge, but as balance. The same silence that once chained her now crowned her. The world saw a powerful judge delivering justice, but only she knew the cost of reaching this seat. She stood, looking at the men who once stripped her of dignity, and for the first time, she spoke not as a victim, but as the voice of every woman silenced by cruelty. "Justice," she said softly, "always remembers." Cameras flashed, the crowd murmured, but Maya didn't smile. She simply walked out of the courtroom, her steps steady, her spirit unbroken. Laughter that once haunted her was gone forever, replaced by the eternal silence of justice served.